Hello and welcome back to Madmen with the Box, our weekly live stream where we discuss all the recent news coming out from Doctor Who and, of course, review certain episodes, Big Finish, etc. For this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the 12th Doctor stories, Under the Lake and Before the Flood. But before that, I'm going to welcome my fellow co-hosts. Top left, you got Professor Pixel, of course. Right above me, Jimmy, the master of views.
Yeah. Oh wait, I did the wrong one.
Let's know how you really feel.
And of course, our special guest, Animated Concepts. Welcome back.
Hello. Yep, glad to be back, fellas. Let's take
Landry
no journey
kept
through time and
missing.
space.
Yeah, we had to bring in someone. It was just getting like boring with us.
Well, no Landry, so we had to bring you back. We were glad.
Landry has now become the chameleon of our group. We know he's there, but we don't see him.
Also, that being said, you're not a second place for us, Animated Concepts.
No, that's too late. It's too late. Let's get on with the show.
Jermaine, man, come on. Okay.
But anyway, before we get onto our main topic for this live stream, news. What's happened? Nothing really, but we have stuff to talk about.
We have stuff to show.
We got some good things. There's been a lot, especially this week, a lot of AI artwork. And so someone came up with the idea, what would the Doctor look like if they just look like every single Doctor who's ever played them? And we ended up with this monstrosity. Pixel, get better internet. I'm just saying.
Get better.
Yeah,
that's
every Doctor, which is apparently just Matt Smith and Capaldi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if you go up, you can read it. The person says every single Doctor. So every male Doctor. Sorry, we're excluding the women in this, because apparently AI doesn't know how to draw women. So
AI is sexist.
It's AI art. Would you expect?
AI is sexist.
Can't draw anything.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see the work of Peter Smith as the next Doctor. It's going to be great.
It literally just looks like if Capaldi had a Smith wig on and he just dropped acid or something. So
Those eyes.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Those I don't think those lips are Smith's. Are Capaldi's though. I think those are Tennant's. Those are Tennant's lips. Tennant's lips, and I think the eyebrows. Like I know that the brow itself is Capaldi, but I think it's a mixture of that and.
I think the eyes are Hartnell's, and the eyebrow forehead area is Capaldi.
I think the eyes are just everything.
The eyes are too much.
I do not think this has anything to do with Colin Baker because he fits perfectly in that skinny suit.
Fat shaming. Really,
I'm
Jimmy?
I'm fat. I can do it. I can make fun of my own people.
Your own people.
Hey, he looks like an English teacher named Linus. I don't know. It's just...
Okay. Give us some. Let's talk about something real. Yeah. So we are all aware of the fantastic storyline that is the hybrid. Well, somebody has gone ahead and they've realized the truth about it. If you look here in the ruins of Gallifrey, you can clearly see the hybrid.
Yep. No, I can't see it. I can't see it.
Better acting than Maisie Williams in that whole arc. So
wow.
I can't see it. Can you actually make it blurred up? It's pretty well hidden.
I'll try to pull it up. Let's see.
Now, don't blow it up like the Master did in The Time of the Child, but I mean, like, picture bigger.
There it is. I see it.
Oh, yeah, I see it. It was hidden behind Davros.
Davros.
I thought, wait. Are we looking in the same spot?
I don't know.
I wish I thought it was arrows or something.
I thought it was in one of the red arrows. I don't know.
I wish it's pointing at 4 different places. There should just be one arrow to show us where it is. Now I'm looking all over the place.
Yeah,
that's right. I mean, it could be in the smoke over there. It could be in the giant dome.
Could be in that little smoke over there.
It could be on the south side of Chicago. Oh, sorry, that's still Gallifrey.
You know what's handy though? I'm very glad that they circled the area that it's not. You could tell because it's all in red.
All right. What's next? Let's keep this train rolling.
All right. So next we have. I suppose we should talk about something serious.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the director of one of the 60th anniversary specials. He wanted to tease something on Twitter, but what he didn't tease anything. He kind of just like poked fun at us for teasing all the time. Let's say, oh, I wonder what's happening. So what he did was Photoshop Matt Smith in a picture of a TARDIS that he took a picture of.
If my internet works.
You know what I think this is? Now, you can call me crazy. I think this is actually a red herring because I felt like if he did this, people would be like, oh, it's Photoshop. He's joking. While actually filming something with Matt Smith, so people would go, oh, Matt Smith's not there, and just throw out all the speculation things we see from now on.
Well, that is very poor Photoshop. You can tell.
That's what I'm saying is like he put this out there, so any leaks that come out after this would be like, oh, it's just because he uploaded this photo that's fake. That's why they're saying it. So I think that's a smart move by them because Smith is actually going to be in it. Also, because David Tennant did say at Comic-Con that most of what they filmed was in a closed set where no one could see, and there's going to be a lot of people there. So I think Matt Smith could be one of them.
Maybe. I'm just not sure. It's a lot of maybes. I love that we actually have something of potential news and we are able to go through it in less than a minute. But we managed to extend the arrows pointing at a hybrid for like 3.
Well, there should be more stuff I put in the chat.
You did. We talked about this episode a few weeks ago. And we are so glad to go ahead and say that the Slitheen family have had a slight transformation. You can see right here. She's looking beautiful. She's gorgeous.
Fierce. Absolutely slide.
She was actually, the reason she looks this good is because she was on the same TV show Jack was in the 25th century, 24th century.
Oh yeah.
In the Satellite. So
she's looking great.
I've never wanted to kiss an alien so much in my life.
Oh God.
You kiss her and she'll pass gas. It's how you know she likes you.
Hey, I like my flatulent women. Jervain, you want a piece of that?
He is happy staying away. Ed Brewer, this is why I normally don't eat on the air.
Melania says, "Wow, that's Puppeteen's next Tinder date, is it?"
Oh, I don't know.
You gonna put Puppeteen through that?
No, I don't think so. So we have this thing that's kind of news, but I don't think it's really news because I looked at the Instagram myself. This post is not real. It does not exist. There's no double hearts with the star.
Yeah.
So Missy, you so fine. Missy, you so lying.
That is a fake one because you see where the check mark is. It's too separated from the actual type, like the name where their at thing would be. Also, it's too small. It would be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Easy enough to break down. But
no, this is definitely real. The star means that Adric is coming back.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
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 You know.
Oh.
All the people are like, yeah, Adric needs to come back.
That's what everybody wants.
Adric, yeah.
What it actually means is we're getting Peter Davison for five stars.
Maybe, yeah.
5 points.
I think it's just Lightyear from the new Buzz Lightyear movie actually coming in for the crossover promo of the 60th anniversary.
Or, hear me out, what are stars made of? They're made of triangles. What are triangles? A 2D version of a pyramid. What are pyramids? Pyramids of Mars. There we go.
Yeah. We're getting Sutek. Sutek's the villain of the 60th.
Now that's great. No, that's a good one to end on. I'm going to stop right there. All right. Part of the final thing that we're going to talk about, one of the things that actually Jimmy was talking about before we came on the air, the 4th issue of the what's her name? Fugitive Doctor. Of the Fugitive Doctor. The 4th issue is out, and apparently it does explore her origins. I don't know the exact details. I haven't been reading it. Jimmy also did not read it. But
hey, the comic book shop is 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending if there's traffic, away from my house. Now, it came out today, okay? I was busy today. So give me 1 second.
He's going to look it up.
Yep, he's going to go read it right now. And we're just going to be sitting here for the next 15 minutes. He's going to come back and say, this is the best thing I've ever read. I think it adds to the origin of the Doctor fantastically. And Jodie Hauser is a goddess. There we go.
No. Not even a little bit.
What'd you go do then?
Don't get me wrong. Jodie Hauser's a great writer. But I am reading the series. The first 2 were good. The third one was decent. And I don't want to read the 4th one because I heard it reveals the final origin. So I'm a little upset about it.
I do have to say, though, that cover does look kind of nice. I kind of like it. It's got vibes.
Roberta Ingranata did that.
That's my favorite artist.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole look of. Is that supposed to be Rassilon? Probably not.
No, I don't know. Rassilon hasn't even been mentioned in the series so far.
Oh. Wow, that's kind of crazy. But you know,
I mean, I wouldn't think so, considering that Rassilon is supposed to be dead.
Technically,
at the time of the Fugitive Doctor,
the Fugitive Doctor is, I believe, in between 2 and 4, around there.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the origin, really?
That's what I believe it is because
I'd have to read it.
I had an
okay.
No. Not they don't explain in this, but in the show, I believe where they bring her in and talk about it. I don't remember why I remember it, but because I do remember it being in like that age.
Jimmy.
I'm getting a phone call.
Okay, go ahead.
Tell him to go away.
The reason why Jimmy is remembering that is because that was one of the theories. It was the season 2B. They just threw her in there to try to go ahead and give credence to the Timeless Child, but no, the Timeless Child exists. That's why Jimmy is confusing it, because that's what everybody was talking about. I don't know. I'll have to read it. Maybe once it's done, I'll do like a full read through and make a video of it. It depends on if I have to watch every 13th Doctor episode and review that. Oh, geez, he has to be 10 now. If he's not, I might not live long, guys. Okay. With that being done and Jimmy on the phone, we can go ahead and move on to the final part of our conversation, which is actually about Tom Hanks.
Hanks!
What's he done now?
He was in an interview, and one of the things that came up was actually about him potentially being an American Doctor Who.
No, not an American Doctor Who. Potentially being the Doctor to regenerate after Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi said Tom Hanks should do it, and Tom Hanks said, "Can you imagine the outcry?"
Yeah, that's what the interview says. They think so, they said, but here I'm going to go. I think I'm at it.
You were in the hands of something that had been really well thought out, despite the fact of the lack of gravity.
That's the Star Wars part.
It's almost two.
Ships. Doctor Who. It said that Peter Capaldi tried to enlist you through the advances of the producers to actually play Doctor Who at one time.
That would have been a blast. That's all scheduling, I guess. You know, can't do every job. And honestly, me as Doctor Who, can you imagine the outrage? I'm an American, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to jump in that red telephone box and wear a scarf and whatever it is. I don't think Anthony Quinn could play Zorba the Greek in today's popular The Judgment. Why? And do you know why, Josh? Because he's not Greek. So imagine the cry if I had played world famous. I would have played one of the Daleks, maybe. I would have been inside those big salt and pepper shakers talking in that automated voice. With an English accent, by the way.
Oh, that.
Yeah, there'll be a reason for that outcry. the red pillbox that he flies.
Yeah, no, that didn't help. I don't
really
believe
happy
the Capaldi story at all.
Oh my god. Okay.
Not true. I believe it. Even Matt Smith said he wanted an American to play the Doctor. I believe it was John Lithgow. And by the way, good fucking choice.
Lithgow.
I would have
Lithgow
wanted
is exceptional.
Very. Now I wanted Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm? I can't remember his first name. The guy who played in Clockwork Orange. Jervain, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Malcolm McDowell.
It is Malcolm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good choice. Yep.
All right. Chris, that's it.
Yep.
We're done.
Yep. With the stream. Okay. Stream over. See you guys.
No.
Bye. But that is it for our news. On to our main topic, our two-parter, because the majority of this season is just two-parters, so we decided to lock them in together. Under the Lake and Before the Flood, which I believe is the third and fourth episode of the series.
Yes.
If you don't count the Christmas ones. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to go first? Explain what this is.
Jervain should go first because he's the guest.
Sure.
Oh, that's no problem. Yeah, well, I'll say this. When I got reached out as a second choice to be on the show tonight, they told me what shows we were doing.
In fact, I invited you before I knew Landry said he was going to be able to join, but apparently he
All right, I got to take shots. But I'm glad to be on this because this is actually, amongst Capaldi's run, one of my favorite episodes, especially the two-parter. And it's because it is probably one of the most fun Doctor Who episodes because it hits every point. It's quirky. It's got monsters. It's the Doctor being the Doctor.
You're seriously saying this is one of Capaldi's best?
No, I'm saying it's the most fun. I said it's one of the most fun
Even
of his runs.
Even that.
It's fun. It's fun. It hits
You know what? I
all the
take it
marks.
back. You
No,
are second place.
It hits all the marks. It's fun. It's the fact that it's the doctor. It's one of those episodes that gives you the sense of this is what happens when somebody lives a really long time, and the people that he deals with and interacts with, they almost become like set pieces in his life, if you will, with the exception of Clara. The whole thing with the note cards that he has to give him to basically explain to people, like basically, don't worry, I'm here to help. It's like, I'm sorry for the loss of your, what is it, family, friend, loved one, pet. That kind of thing.
That's why I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Oh, that was a great bit.
No, because that means he lost that sense, that piece of him that didn't know empathy that well that he had in the previous incarnations. Yet
it's more the fact that it's his natural sense of curiosity and exploring. It just gets the better of him at times. It's not necessarily it comes off definitely when you have the other characters. I think it was the Prentice guy who loses. I think there's someone who was a love interest for him, Bennett. It comes off, that's when he comes off cold and aloof, if you will, but it's not because he doesn't care. It's just, he's just that damn curious. It's just, that's who he is. That's why he's flying around in the TARDIS and traveling through time and space in the first place. Just like when he's like talking about the whole afterlife bit of it. And it's like, to them, it's like, yo, dude, we kind of just like lost 3 of our friends. And he's just like, come on, it's like, don't you see what this means? And it's more like his just natural curiosity. He doesn't mean anything by it. But I don't think it's like this, I'm like dead inside kind of a thing. It's just sometimes when you're traveling around like this, you just lose your social graces sometimes. So that's what I liked about that bit.
I have to support that because we even have Tom Baker, which he is probably the most loved classic Doctor amongst fans of the show at any point. He even had moments where he would almost just shrug something off and get into the wonder of something rather than address, a death. If there were ghosts, he would focus on the ghosts for a good minute there. And
when he was pushed over by the butler in City of Death, he was like, what did he say? What a very physical butler. He's so no. What a very that's it. What a very lovely butler. He's so violent.
So yeah, I mean, with the Doctor, his personality is going to come off in different ways at different times. But especially with 12, who his whole first season, he has that awkwardness about him. And he doesn't shake that until the 10th season. And that's clear here too. They have moved. I love this episode because clearly he and Clara are moving forward past the stuff with Danny, stuff with that, and they are able to have a normal adventure. But there's a serious note to it. Mm-hmm. The Doctor in this one goes ahead and displays that I'll do anything. I'll go ahead and do whatever I have to go ahead and save Clara, which gets even worse further down the line this very season. And this is truly like the beginning of that toxic hold. But it's in an episode that has a lot of energy to it. You have side characters that are mostly entertaining. Yeah, obviously you have the corporate guy who is just there for the money and he gets dealt with quickly. Then you have the one who's the fan of the Doctor and gets axed off, and you actually do feel like you've lost something there because she had an Oswin. Oswin. Yeah,
Oswin. That's right. Yep.
Kind of vibe to her. But with this, I think there's the energy is absolutely there. You also just have that mysterious element. The second episode before the flood, when it starts out with the 12th Doctor explaining the bootstrap theory, it's fantastic. And it gives us actually one of the best openings for Doctor Who, where the electric guitar comes in. I was
That's my favorite thing.
I disagree so hard. So hard. It is a very fun opening, Javane. You like that?
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I said fun.
Hold up.
You heard best. I said fun.
No, that's why I said, Javane, you like fun. You like that word.
Like
because this is a very fun opening. But it sets up the problem of the two-parter. It sets up the MacGuffin. It sets up the ending with the Doctor coming back as one of those ghosts, saying all the thing he needs to hear so he can like defeat the villain. Okay, but how did that happen? Oh, it's the bootstrap paradox.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point of the bootstrap paradox.
If you
it
put
doesn't really have a
beginning just so it can affect the ending, but not in a physical way, as something as a MacGuffin, then it makes no sense. They just go, oh, he's talked about in the beginning, therefore it works here. No, it doesn't. Just because he says it back there doesn't mean it works here.
The bootstrap paradox.
But it works because he's basically as he's doing it, he's breaking the fourth wall, which that's why I think it works. That he's breaking the fourth, because the episode ends with him breaking the fourth wall, kind of looking at the audience and doing that George Reeves Superman kind of winking an eye kind of a thing.
Is he the first one to break the fourth wall? Because I remember him breaking it in, I believe, the Husbands of River song as well.
I don't think he breaks it in Husbands.
I think Husbands is just a narrator. It's like, it ends with, and they live happily ever after.
Something happens in that, I believe, and he looks to the camera and goes,
well, a look to the camera. I mean, that's not the same.
That's breaking the fourth wall.
That's not the same.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's
this one. He's deliberately breaking the fourth wall. This is deliberate.
Of New Who, yes, it is the first time he's broken the fourth wall.
Classic Who, there was a couple more, but
I mean, famously, you have after the Fifth Doctor regenerates. Change, my dear, not a moment too, no moment too soon, or something like that. And he looks directly at the camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
a moment too soon.
Also, when he talks shit about K9, because we all know K9 breaks down.
Well, to that I have to go ahead and
How long,
say.
K9?
Insufficient data.
Yeah, you never fucking know the answer when it's important.
That's
good. Dude, okay, I do. Here's something about the news that we didn't bring up. Tom Baker was trending on Twitter 3 times this week. The first time I was scared. I was like, oh no. And then it wasn't about that. It was just because of a Big Finish thing. And then the next one I was like, oh no. And then it wasn't. And I was like, okay. And then for the third time I was like, this cannot be the one, because like 3 times and you're out is like 3 strikes. This has to be it. It better not be it. And it wasn't. I was like, I hate Twitter's trending list so much. Every single time it gets me.
Yeah, I know. It scared me with something else this week. But no, as I was saying, these episodes have just such a way about them, especially after season 8, which was a struggle for a lot of people. I mean, Capaldi with these 2 first seasons, he's a struggle for some. He's not for me. He wasn't for me, but I was alone in a little camp by myself. But I think here it gives an energy. And the funny thing, when we rolled up, because guys, when we rolled up this episode, I couldn't remember it to save the life of me. I did not remember that the fourth wall breaking explanation of the bootstrap theory was in this episode. I forgot it entirely. So when I sat down and watched it, I remembered parts of it, but it just came through in a fresh new way, and I loved it.
Yeah, and especially I loved it because like the Beethoven in the beginning, talking about Beethoven. Beethoven is one of my all-time favorite musicians. Same with Mozart. And classic music for me is just probably my second favorite genre, right behind the blues. B.B. King's my favorite musician of all time, hands down. No one's better than B.B. But But with classic music, I love it because I love how you can amplify emotion to intensity, to sadness, to any different emotion with just the simplest of classic music, such as Beethoven, Mozart, and then putting that in specific different genres. I love finding new ways to do that. And then you put it in a sci-fi fantasy like Doctor Who, and then it's just even better.
So did you hate going back in time and finding out that Beethoven didn't really exist at all?
It ended up being Peter Capaldi, so I was okay with it.
I did not remember Prof Pixel 2024. I don't get what that's saying. Okay. No, I mean that's
he's making
awesome.
fun of your grammar because you said I did not remember instead of I do not remember.
Yeah,
but the other great thing about the episode is just the chemistry between the Doctor and Clara, and it's something where it's like Professor said, they've gotten past basically the very traumatic events of the season prior, because I was a big fan of the whole Dr. Clara Danny combo, because for me it was, I enjoyed like the kind of family vibe of 11 with the Ponds, and for me this was always a thing of like, it was like the crotchety old father-in-law, the daughter, and the kind of rebellious son-in-law. And here, that's why I like the card bit, because it was kind of like she's helping her old man kind of do her thing, and she understands what he's doing, and that he doesn't mean anything about it, even though to other people they're taking great offense to it. Because you remember during the story, Clara is pretty much accused of the same thing by the other two crew members, the one who was mute and all that. She's accused of the same thing. It's something that often comes up with the companions. They get so caught up in what the Doctor is doing, his curiosity, he's rushing the situations, that it's just the sheer thing of the adventure of it. It's just a little bit intoxicating, and you can forget sometimes that there are people whose lives are materially being affected by what's going on around them. So I think I like when they play with that idea of how sometimes the Doctor and his companions, while everything is really an adventure to them, it's like almost in a sense they can almost lose their humanity, but not in the way that I think is.
It's because they're getting too comfortable being in these type of positions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like Rory brought it up with the Doctor when he was talking about Amy. When he was talking about Amy one time, but he was just like, it's like you just don't I think it was kind of like you just don't realize the effect that you have on her, and he didn't really like that or appreciate it. So I think it's
that was season 5.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think that's something that, irregardless of which Doctor we're talking about, or even which companions, it's just the nature of what they do. It's like, it's something that it's like, it's pretty freaking amazing to run around and do this. So, these guys are like, this is a life and death situation. Our friends are dying and showing up as ghosts. And here you two come along, and it's like, exactly who are you? And why should I listen to you? And why is it you treat this like basically like it's some kind of a joke? I mean, the same thing happens with Bill and 12 when they go back to a time where basically, I forget what it was. It was the era where basically she would have been, I think it's a little bit more racist, if you will. Yeah, thank you. And she was like, basically like, dude, like say something, like some scene happened. I can't remember exactly. And she was waiting for him to like basically speak out against it. And it's one of my favorite lines of his where he says, passion fights where reason wins. And then when he later on, he says something, makes his very passionate speech invoking the injustice of what's going on of the society, then she gets a different look at him that she didn't have before. It's not that he doesn't care. It's not that he's aloof. It's just, like, I don't know.
It's because if he remembers, I believe, if he mourns or he remembers, people die. And so he has to shut that part off so he can continue to save.
Yep.
And then he punches the racist in the face.
Which was you.
Do I look like Zach to you?
No. I don't get that. What?
No, it's an inside joke. Chris, you're the only person who hasn't said a thing about this episode.
Yeah. Frog is telling me to speak. Okay, I will.
and run for president
Okay. Well, I'll
of the world.
I'll run
And
the I'll
Bendis
run the
is
planet.
Superman United Earth. You can run for president.
Oh God, no.
That's right. The United Earth in hating the Superman comic books. There we go.
But this episode I enjoyed quite a bit. It really starts to show, the Doctor and Clara's relationship growing, and also starting the whole Clara Who thing that would become her death. Yes.
Yeah, that deserves this. That does.
And then the side characters in here are fantastic, especially O'Donnell. Rest in peace. You were gone too soon. It's always the ones that would be like probably pretty good with the Doctor. They always get taken out. How dare they?
That's the problem with Moffat. He takes away
Yeah.
the characters you think would be really good, and so far from what he writes, the characters he writes sometimes that are really good, he just like kills off. Like Canton Delaware the Third. He would have been amazing as a companion. But no, we're just gonna leave him here back in 1969 so he can
Be old
be gay
and old
and old.
and get
Gold?
blacked.
What?
Did you say get blacked?
Yeah. He said his partner was black.
Yeah, but you didn't have to throw in a porn reference, bro.
We had pictures of porn stars on the screen last week because of you, Jimmy. You're in no place to speak.
But it was a Doctor Who reference.
But
Someone's his.
But yeah, everything about these two stories I enjoyed. I forgot how much fun I had with these episodes. I think the only real downside is just the villain, the Fisher King. He's very just lacking. He's just there because the plot. How did the ghost get here? How did the ghost get here? Oh, the Fisher King.
It was the writing on the wall.
Yeah, the writing on the wall that the Fisher King put. Who put it there? The Fisher King.
Yeah, but
Yes.
why? How does it happen? Yes.
Well, they do kind of explain that.
Yeah, after he awakens from his bindings, that's what he does. He marks it down and then kills the little Weasley guy that I can't remember what his species is. The most invaded species on the galaxy.
The Tivoli. Yeah.
That
was funny.
Phalapatorius?
No, they aren't invaded. They invade. But no, with that, because he needs to make these ghosts. It's basically more ghosts. Go ahead, get that message out there. That's how you spread it.
That
All
still
right.
makes no sense. How does that happen? I don't get it.
It was
Then
explained in the episode.
again, Jimmy, remember when the Master was literally everyone, and they decided let's just find out about these drum beats, and they all just like close their eyes and just.
I'm
thought
still on
deeply.
that train too. How does that happen?
Yeah, I know exactly. So, an alien writing a message that ghosts can try and spread. That's not out of the realm of weird.
This is like AIDS
That's
but
true.
ghosts.
Yeah.
It was very weird to see the Master with tits. Anyway.
But that's the only kind of like downside of these episodes. It's just the villain of the two-parter.
If you want to do a
Very
side by
weak.
side, the villain looks like the original concept prosthetic for Azog the Defiler from The Hobbit, because the original design of it was a prosthetic white orc, and it didn't really go anywhere because they went CGI. But he kind of looks like that.
But I do have to say, I think his design is really cool. I think the Fisher King looks very cool.
I
I think it looks cool.
It's
It
nothing.
looks like a 1990s Power Ranger villain.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because I don't like the Power Rangers. I hate the Power Rangers.
I think you would love it, actually.
No, I hate them. But no, I think it has a very cool look to him. But he's not the important part of the episode.
He really is just like, he really is just kind of like side candy, if you will. I mean, the supporting cast in terms of the crew were a lot more interesting than he was. So I'm with Chris on that one. I thought of the supporting cast. I mean, the whole episode, the cat, it has somewhat of like that crew has like an aliens feel to it, but it's like they were just had a lot more personality, and you were a lot more invested in them than I would say, that same crew for Aliens. But I just thought that, you really were rooting for them. You felt for them. The fact that Prentice loses O'Donnell and I love that scene where when they go back, I think they go back the second time after she's killed, and he wants to say something, and the doctor basically has to tackle him before he does so. It's just a lot of beats throughout this two-parter that it evoked a lot of classic Doctor Who. I think that's what I liked about these two episodes, was that if you wanted to see a lot of the conventions of Doctor Who that do well, all of those are present in these two episodes. It's like it's what makes Who in a sense.
I agree. If specifically, I was thinking if you switch this Doctor out for a Colin Baker, it'd work just the same. Yep. It wouldn't be as fun, for sure, or interesting. Yep. But it'd work just the same. And for this episode specifically, I think I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's fun. I think it's just interesting. Like something that intrigues me, and I would watch again specifically just to see if I find something new. Like watching Christopher Nolan's least good movie.
I'm trying to think of it.
Tenet.
I was about to say Tenet. I feel like that's everyone's go-to.
I didn't see it, so
I thought you were bagging on Memento. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute now."
No. Hey, Christopher Nolan's one of my favorite directors, but Tenet was not the go.
I'm going to go ahead and say we should go ahead and give our rankings. I think we need to rate this on a scale.
No.
To 10. Oh, okay. I mean, it's your week to lead. If you say that,
go ahead. I think we started with animated concepts. We'll start with your rating.
Also, I give both an 8. I think they're solid 8s. Yeah, I think I agree with Jimmy. It's like it feels like an episode where you could put any doctor into it, and it would it would read or come across the same. But I think that's both its strength and at the same time that's both its weakness, because I think to what Professor said, it can be a little forgettable. Like it's not something that if somebody asked me, "Oh, what's your top 10 Doctor Who episodes?" it wouldn't be amongst that ranking. But when you guys say, "Hey, that's what we're talking about this weekend," I'll watch it. I was like, "Oh, I remember too how fun." I was like, "Oh yeah, this was fun. This was a good one." This is something that us normies, us Doctor Who normies, like if we were to sit down and watch it, we could watch it and get through it and say, "Hey, that was cool," and go back to the rest of our lives. But so I give both of them a solid 8.
I kind of agree. I think that they're both solid 8. I think I'd give the second one just because I do love when they go back and dealing with the element, dealing with actually the bootstrap theory. I think that with that, it boosts it up to an 8.5. I mean, together, I think it's an 8.5 altogether, as one story. But with that, I think it's the second part that actually gives credence to that. So yeah, that.
Yeah, I think this is a 7. I don't think there's not much to this episode, and they tell you in the very beginning opening statement there's going to be a MacGuffin at the end, so stay tuned.
The structure of the story plays out the bootstrap. What's wrong with you, man?
The best part about this is the characters. The best part about this is the characters.
Amen.
For Moffat not being a character-driven writer, he sure did some character writing in this specific story. So this is probably an 8 for Moffat, but a 7 for the story.
All right.
I would have to give it I'd probably give it a total for both episodes, 7.5 out of 10.
Why do you always split down the middle between Pixel and I?
I don't know. It's just how I am. Fence sitter, am I right? But no, I enjoyed these episodes. Aside from the villain of the episodes, I enjoyed it a lot. The characters were great. I liked everything about it. The whole bootstrap paradox thing I found interesting, mainly because I watched something recently which also had that, where someone's like, "Oh, you became a teacher. Why?" And it's like, "Oh, because of this photo." It's like, that's a photo of your classroom, but it's super old. And then he goes back in time. He accidentally drops the photo. His younger self picks it up and sees, "Oh, this is my future," and he decides to become a teacher. And it's like, "Oh, okay, that's weird and interesting." So, like delving into stuff.
Original photo.
Yeah. Who took the original photo? There is no original photo because it's just the same photo. But yeah, I really like this episode. Probably one of my highlights of that series for Capaldi, definitely. I mean, you can't go any higher than, the one that Pixel doesn't like because he likes the finale much better.
What?
Which one is it? Hellbent.
It's Heaven Sent and Hellbent.
Heaven Sent is the good one.
I just also like Hellbent. I can like both.
And you are allowed to have opinions, but they are wrong.
See, he's just trying to kiss up to Jimmy now for Pixel, so don't worry about it. I was about to say he was a good kid. He goes with you to keep the family together, but now
This is why I like you. This is why I like you.
Yeah.
But if you guys anybody else that is interested in what's also another good sci-fi bootstrap paradox story, you should check out the Twilight Zone. They revived it back in the 80s. They did an episode in the second season called The Once and Future King, which is about an Elvis impersonator who basically goes back in time, and it's very similar to what happened with the Beethoven thing. So that was the first time I got exposed to a sci-fi story with the bootstrap paradox. I highly recommend checking that one out.
Yeah, no, that sounds very cool.
I like the original run of Twilight. Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
We know what
You named my daughter after the Loch Ness monster.
With was it Nightmare at 50,000 feet?
Oh yeah, that's a classic one. Shatner. Yep.
Shatner. That's a great one. Also, the one where the guy goes back in time and President Lincoln never existed. I think that's a bootstrap paradox one as well.
And don't forget, you can't leave out. It's a cookbook. How to serve, man.
I've never seen that one. I've only seen
that one. Oh, come on, man! You got to see. Yeah, you got to watch that one. That one, and there's another one about this neighborhood where they think there's a monster. There's a nice reveal at the end of it, so I won't spoil it. But yeah, my daughter.
That's a classic one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the neighborhood. It's the it's Roseberry. No.
Yeah, but my daughter's hates us to this day for watching, because we watched it with them with the lights turned off, and they never watched the Twilight Zone episode with me again after that one. But that's a great one.
No, that's a good one. We read that specific story in my English class because I don't remember why we read it, but we read it and it was like a pretty cool thing. And then it said, "Oh, there's one street that's named this in every single city in America, and it's like Roseberry or." Yeah, and it turns out to be like aliens or something like that. That's just messing with humans to try to get them to kill themselves.
Exactly. And so we can replicate this in every town, and we'll take over by the end of the year. It's like
it's literally Twilight Zone in the OG days was literally Black Mirror before Black Mirror was a thing.
My favorite Twilight Zone one has to be the one with the TV set and the husband and the wife, and ends up with the death of the wife, and he tries to prevent it, but he can't.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's one of my favorites. But
don't forget Talking Tina, the original Chucky.
There was another show. There was another show like
Outer Limits?
Twilight. Outer Limits. Thank you. Outer Limits. That was a pretty weird show. They had like a much smaller budget than Twilight Zone, so it was like you're watching like Doctor Who budget, but for Twilight Zone. It was really cool.
It was cool. It was more hit and miss than Twilight Zone. It was more hit and miss, but when it hit, the episodes would knock them out of the park. But,
there's a podcast. Do you guys know Word Balloon? John Sucher's Word Balloon comic book podcast. He was one of like the first comic book podcasts to ever really exist. He has a really good podcast for Outer Limits. I think you guys should check out. I'm gonna put it in the private chat. Can you guys post it to the live chat for me?
Yes, I should be able to do that. Copy the link. I mean, you should be able to, but here. There we go.
But anyways, yeah. So check out that. Outer Limits is killer.
Killer. That's it.
Yep. I guess that is it for this week's live stream. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Animated Concepts for joining us as always.
Most definitely. Whenever you need a pinch hitter, just give me a call. Damn it.
You're always welcome to come back.
You're running a whole company, so I just don't know when it's okay to invite you.
You can invite me anytime, but I am an old man, so yeah, you know.
He'll let you know.
He'll let me know.
He'll be like, I'm on this other podcast, but if they cancel, I'll make sure I'm on yours.
Come over here. Yeah.
I'll have my people call your people. No.
My lawyers will talk with yours.
There you go.
All right.
But that is it for this live stream. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Give us your thoughts on this episode if you've watched it already. Tune in tomorrow. I should have a review of 42 out. The latest Fifth Doctor Adventures release. It has Unit. It has Autons. It has the Master. Wait a second. This sounds very familiar. Maybe happened 2 times before.
How are they going to have the Autons on audio? That's what I'm confused about.
Well, they have the iconic gun opening hand and firing.
Yeah, but the walking, like the rubber thing from episode 1.
You just bend rubber.
You'll just have to listen to it to see.
Froggy's going ahead and plugging the Geeky Puppet Show, where puppets do reviews as well and read books and stuff.
Let's exit. Let's end this show. We said goodbye 3 times.
But on Pixel Lore, where we're reviewing with Landry, Rings of Power. So we got that too.
And it's weird because I'm the most intelligent one there about that specific topic. It's weird. Here, I'm like, depends on the episode. But
See, now you know how I feel. You know?
Jimmy, we love you. You're an asshole, but we love you.
Even Landry said, I know more about the Second Age than he does.
But he didn't put it quite as you did. All right.
See you, everyone.
All right. Good night, everyone.